Hi, I'm Timothée Tosti. Today we will be talking about financial responsibility. You know, I'm very much into innovation, creativity, letting people try things and learn through failure, and also letting people take up responsibilities on their own. However, when it comes to the financial area in an organization, no, don't play with this. You know, if rules are unclear, if people don't really know what they are allowed to do or not, well, you will have a few results with this. First, you will have people taking this as an opportunity to boost their own part of the business, their own part of the organization, and spend money without being held accountable for it. That's one thing. The other thing, you will have people feeling way too unsafe to spend money. So they won't do it, and that will slow down the operations. And that's not what we want either. Third thing is that you will have your head of finance, the CFO probably, that will get totally mad because he cannot control anything and he cannot guarantee anything financially wise. Whatever the size of your organization, there has to be a clear and simple financial responsibility system. By the end of the video, you will have an idea of what it should look like. And by the end of this video, we will also have a glimpse of the purpose of these videos. To build the understanding about financial responsibility, we will have to cover a few elements. So, the first element is the double check and the double approval system. For many things, many sensitive things, it's very important that at least two persons check the same thing and make sure it's right. When it comes to the financial area, well, consider it as mandatory to have this system. That for each and every financial matter, at least two persons check it. Let's talk about the budget now. It's an essential component of an organization's finance, of course. And without going into details, we'll just see a few things about the budget that will help us understand our topic today. In a budget, you've got expenditures and revenues. They are detailed with many lines. For example, you can have a ship container, a computer, a trip to New Delhi, and so on. That will be in the description. And the exact amount will be in this column. In terms of responsibility and clarity, it's important that you link these specific lines with specific people in the organization. One reference person, knowing the precise details of what is going on with this trip to New Delhi, for example. And we've got the manager, the responsible person, who is more in charge of overseeing things in this area and making sure it's relevant to make that trip according to the overall current situation. As an example, on the organizational chart, these two persons could be here and here, the reference and the responsible. But they also could be here and here. These two persons always check the financial commitment. This is the first level of the double check and responsibility system. So to go a bit deeper into the levels of responsibility, well, we've seen the operation staff, the manager, and then on the organizational chart, the higher level is the top manager, overseeing an entire department, for instance. Then we've got the CEO, who is in charge of running the company, and we've got two other levels of responsibility. The CFO, Chief Finance Officer, that person is in charge of putting all the financial stuff together for the organization. And then we've got the board. The board is there to approve the budget and the financial report. Let's now see the levels of expenditure. From 0 to $9,999.99, then you will have to have the approval of two persons, the two first person in the levels of responsibility. Then from 10,000 to almost 100,000, you've got to have the first two approval and the top manager approval. And then with 100,000 and above, you will have to have the first two approval, the approval of the top manager, and also the CEO's approval. That means 4 approval. This is, of course, an example, and the numbers have to be adjusted to your organization's situation. In this video, we are talking mainly about expenditures, about money that goes out of the organization. Ideally, every financial matter should follow the same system, whether it's invoicing, spending, loans, investments. Everything should follow the same system. This will make the financial process way more clear. Now, here is the process of how it works. The reference person is there during the entire process. Remember that reference person is the one who knows really into details what is going on with the specific expense. So it starts with a need. And then there are offers, and then comes this crucial point of authorization. And it depends on the level of expenditure. By approving an expense, each person certifies that first, money is there in the budget for this expense. Second, that there is a real need for this expense at this specific moment. And then that the amount is correct. And then the process goes along with the order, the receipt of the goods or services, the receipt of the invoice, and finally the payment. In addition, there are some conditions for such a system to work properly. First, it's really a matter of people taking their responsibility regarding the use of the organization's finance. Then, it's also a matter of anticipation. If you can know where you are going, if you can make some forecast, then you can anticipate the right authorization at the right moment. Of course, the system should also work when someone is not there and should give an authorization. For this, you have to have a substitute system in place. And I did another video about this. I put the link in the notes below. To make things go faster, an expense can also be pre-approved. That means that the expense is approved prior to the need or the time where it has to be actually made. Understand that these limits are only minimum requirements. A person can always play it safer if she's not comfortable with an expense, and she can go seek a higher authorization. What about emergencies? Well, if you have a clear system of responsibility, some anticipation, forecasting, there should be very, very few emergencies. However, if an emergency happens, then you've got at least 3 ways of solving it. An approval by phone, by email or by text, it's okay. We can live with it. Then an approval by a higher manager, that's also fine, totally fine. And finally, the CFO authorizing a payment based on his level of knowledge and the overall logic of the payment, then that's also fine. And then be sure to use this specific situation to study it, to review it, so that you can learn what happened, figure out what happened in this situation, and find ways so that it doesn't appear again. So we've seen a lot of things, and it might look as if it's only for big organization, and it's not the case. If you're a small organization of 3-4 people, then it's also very relevant to put in place such a system. In fact, it's even highly important to do so, because such a system will make your organization stronger, and it will become part of your organization's culture and be part of it as it grows. So, you heard me talk a lot about clarity, and that's really an underlying principle I'm promoting. The message here is that certain aspects of an organization have to be absolutely clear, and finance is one of them. That makes it way less stressful for everyone, and that helps them focus on things they're really good at, on their space of expertise, and on their particular way to bring value to the organization. I hope this video brought you some clarity on the aspect of financial responsibility within an organization. Please comment below and share your stories. Tell us what works for you, for your organization, what doesn't work also, that's very interesting. And please subscribe to this channel. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time.